In the stillness of a night lost to time, the world changed forever. Yet almost no one noticed. Beneath a sky laden with mysteries, a star blazed as never before, casting its light upon paths and exposing truths even the mighty dared not question. In Bethlehem, a child was born amidst shadows and simplicity. Yet the event destined to bring light to the world was marked by slander, deceit, and something far darker, murder. Under the veil of the unknown, in a place where light and shadow have always danced in fragile harmony, the name of a boy echoes like a whisper through the ages, carrying hope to the valley of redemption. When the so-called Magi, scholars specializing in the study of the heavens, hailing from regions east of Judea, arrived in Jerusalem, they brought with them an extraordinary announcement. They claimed to have identified a clear sign in the firmament, a star whose position and brilliance signified the birth of a remarkable leader, one they recognized as the King of the Jews. Though rooted in astronomical knowledge and ancient spiritual expectations, this information sounded enigmatic to the locals, and particularly to Herod, the reigning king. After all, a legitimate monarch already sat on the throne, and any mention of another king could be interpreted as a threat to political stability. These travelers were sometimes referred to as wise men or even kings, but in practice they served as observers of the skies and interpreters of signs. Their exact number remains uncertain, though later tradition settled on 3, likely due to the gifts they would present. In Jerusalem, their question was direct. Where is the newborn King of the Jews? We have seen his star rising in the east and have come to pay him homage. This query quickly spread through the palace corridors and city streets, evoking amazement, curiosity, and unease. Herod, known for his authoritarian rule and strong desire to retain power, responded with measured caution. In the presence of the Magi, he adopted a polite tone, expressed interest, and even offered to assist. Search carefully for this child, and when you find him, inform me so that I too may go and honor him. On the surface, the king seemed cooperative. Privately, however, Herod began to consider the possibility of a rising rival. Though he did not comprehend the celestial phenomenon, he well understood the political ramifications of a prophecy bolstered by foreigners. Inwardly, he resolved to act decisively to neutralize this potential threat. Guided by information gathered from religious authorities of the time, the Magi departed Jerusalem for Bethlehem, identified as the probable birthplace of this new leader. The star continued to guide them, its position in the heavens directing their journey. Upon reaching their destination, they found a modest dwelling and the family within, a young mother named Mary and her small child. There were no royal trappings or grand displays, only the quiet confirmation that this child was indeed the one indicated by the celestial signs. As a gesture of recognition and reverence, they presented 3 gifts: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Gold, a symbol of wealth, was associated with nobility or royalty. Frankincense, used in religious ceremonies, evoked the sacred. Myrrh, with its medicinal and symbolic uses, was seen as an article that could, in ritual contexts, allude to future hardships or suffering. Through these offerings, the Magi acknowledged not only the child's political and spiritual significance, but subtly suggested that his life would not be without great challenges. Shortly after their visit, the Magi received a warning in a dream or some insight they deemed trustworthy, instructing them not to return to Herod. They realized the king's initial goodwill was but a thinly veiled strategy. Quietly, they chose an alternate route to leave the region, avoiding further contact with the ruler. Herod, upon realizing the Magi had not returned, understood that he had been ignored. Enraged, he became consumed with the potential threat of the prophecy to his established order. Convinced that a future rival lay hidden in Bethlehem, he issued a brutal decree: the slaughter of all male children below a certain age in the area. This event, known as the Massacre of the Innocents, became a historical symbol of cruelty and desperation. As his soldiers moved through the darkened streets, searching homes, Herod sought to eliminate any trace of the figure he believed could challenge his reign. Meanwhile, the boy's family had already set out for Egypt, guided by a silent but unmistakable sense of urgency. There were no grand manifestations or visible miracles, only a dream laden with significance and the resolute decision to flee. Under the cover of night, the steps of Joseph, Mary, and the infant Jesus crossed the desert, driven by the need to escape the king's reach. Every movement seemed orchestrated by an unseen force, leaving behind a city gripped by fear and tyranny. Thus, the destiny of this child continued to unfold, intertwined with subtle interventions that defied earthly power. In the end, Herod failed in his attempt to locate and destroy the supposed king of the Jews. The consequences of his actions left a lasting scar on collective memory, reinforcing the image of a ruler insecure in the face of what he could not fully comprehend. At the same time, it solidified the perception that the event signified by that star and that humble home in Bethlehem was more than political. It carried a meaning that would transcend centuries, underpinned by the belief that certain figures and moments cannot be subdued by force, nor silenced by violence. In Joseph's dreams, the voice came like thunder cloaked in starlight. "Rise, take the child and his mother, depart for Egypt, where the sands shall sing songs of refuge. Do not look back, for danger creeps in your shadow." At the break of dawn, Joseph led his family across the desert, each step an act of faith and survival. Among pyramids and dunes, Egypt embraced them like a silent mother, offering a temporary haven amidst the storm. Bethlehem, however, continued to bleed. Yet, in the void left by the child, there lingered the weight of promises. Was the flight an act of fear, or the fulfillment of something already inscribed by the heavens? With Herod's downfall, a gentle breeze carried a new order into Joseph's dreams. The road back was not simple, but he knew the desert had shaped the family into something stronger, more resilient. Nazareth awaited them, a village too small for ambition, yet vast enough to cradle the beginning of a story that would echo through eternity. There the boy grew amidst dust and hills. His childish steps concealed an invisible weight, and his young voice carried the whisper of something the world was not yet ready to understand. Nazareth became the silent stage for the extraordinary, biding its time to emerge. Constantine, the strategist emperor, saw in Christianity a rare opportunity to consolidate his power over a divided empire. Under his reign, the once persecuted faith emerged from the shadows to become a central pillar of the Roman Empire. However, this rise was neither natural nor disinterested. Constantine masterfully entwined politics and religion, forging a union that would shape the course of history. One of the most striking elements of this transition was the selection of the 25th of December to celebrate Christ's birth. Previously dedicated to the pagan festival of Sol Invictus, a celebration of light's triumph over darkness, this date was strategically repurposed. The symbolism was potent, the birth of the Savior coinciding with the rebirth of the Son, uniting ancient pagan traditions with the emerging Christian ideals. This decision ensured a smoother cultural transition, but also raised questions that persist to this day. Yet behind this choice lay more than mere political pragmatism. For many, the adoption of the 25th of December was not just a matter of convenience, but a move concealing deeper truths. Was this date an attempt to obscure Christianity's true origins, or was it a means to secure its dominance in a world still divided by belief? This transition also introduced a new dynamic of power. The cross, once a symbol of suffering and hope, became an imperial banner. Christian altars erected at the heart of the empire now bore the weight of political decrees and worldly interests. Constantine did not merely adapt Christianity to suit the empire. He transformed it into an instrument of control, intertwining devotion and politics into a web of secrets and ambition. The darkness surrounding this transformation remains steeped in mystery. Was the 25th of December chosen to unite peoples and beliefs, or to obscure something that was never meant to be revealed? As the faith gained light, the backstage of history remained in shadow, guarding secrets that resonate to this very day. It was a time of uncertainties, where faith mingled with the unknown, and a new attempt to organize time emerged in the hands of Dionysius, a monk whose gaze seemed to evade definitive answers. Tasked with establishing the Christian chronology, Dionysius marked Christ's birth on 25 December of the year 1, a decision that appeared more convenient than accurate. With his quill, he inscribed dates onto yellowed parchments, shaping time as he deemed necessary, yet without grasping the consequences that would echo through the centuries. The timeline, however, resisted such determinations. King Herod, whose death occurred years prior to the proposed date, stood as evidence that something was misaligned. Despite this, the error persisted, etched indelibly into the fabric of Christian history. The calendar, intended to bring clarity, became a repository of mysteries, where every date seemed to bear the weight of human compromise rather than divine precision. More than a mere innocent mistake, this chronological misstep became a missing link in the chain connecting past to present. Beneath the guise of order lay an enigma. Why perpetuate a calculation that did not reflect the true sequence of events? The stars would not bend to human will, and Dionysius's chronology left more questions than answers. As the ages progressed, history seemed to whisper that not all truths were meant to be unveiled. Deep within the annals of history, the birth of Christ remains shrouded in mystery and symbolism. The 25th of December, chosen to mark this event, carries a historical and spiritual weight far beyond its apparent simplicity. This date did not arise by chance. It emerged as an intersection of ancient pagan rituals and the spread of Christianity. Celebrated as the rebirth of light during the winter solstice, the 25th of December was absorbed into the new faith, becoming a beacon of hope and redemption. Yet behind this strategic choice linger questions and secrets that continue to intrigue scholars and believers alike. Was the adaptation of pagan traditions to reinforce the Christian message a calculated decision? or merely a reflection of the cultural forces of the time? Whatever the answer, the date has become a potent symbol of the transition between the old and the new, between darkness and light. The narrative surrounding the birth of the Christ child is also one of defiance. While empires and rulers sought to shape history to their advantage, the figure of Bethlehem emerged as a challenge to absolute control. A child, born in humble circumstances, became the center of an enigma that has endured through centuries. Even amid manipulations and adjustments over time, his story remains a guiding light, illuminating a path through the shadows of doubt and oblivion. Thus, as the world celebrates Christmas, the mystery behind this date lives on. More than a marker on the calendar, it serves as a reminder that some stories transcend their time, challenging both skeptics and believers, and keeping alive the promise of a light